Eric Schmidt revealed what AI leaders really believe. They call it the San Francisco Consensus. AGI arrives in 2 to 5 years, and whoever gets there first controls everything that comes after. Now, while they tell you AI will democratize intelligence, they're racing to concentrate the most powerful technology in history. And if you're 55, you've been assuming the rules stay stable for your last decade of work. They're saying those rules change in the next few years. Well, here's what Eric Schmidt actually said. He's the former Google CEO, explained that every AI leader in Silicon Valley agrees on the same timeline. Artificial general intelligence, that's AI, as smart as humans at every task, happens within 2 to 5 years. But here's the part they don't want you thinking about. He also says whoever gets there first controls everything. Not benefits everyone, not democratizes intelligence, controls everything. You see, that includes control over the job market you're counting for the next 10 years, control over the financial systems your retirement depends on, control over whether the skills that you spent 40 years building still have value. You want to know how concentrated this race really is? 4 companies. OpenAI raised $61 billion, Anthropic raised $8 billion, Google and Meta are spending similar amounts. That's it. 4 companies racing to build the most powerful technology in human history. And they're not building it slowly with public oversight. They're accelerating. Watch what's happening with the timeline. You see, 2 years ago, experts said it was decades away. Now they're saying 2 to 5 years. That's not gradual progress. That's exponential acceleration. Ilya Sutskever, who founded OpenAI, explained why at the University of Toronto. He said the day will come when AI does all of the things that we can do, not just some of them, but all of them. And once that happens, the rate of progress becomes extremely fast. Well, here's what that means in practice. See, right now, humans are still making decisions about AI development. But once you have AI that's smarter than human, it starts making decisions about its own development. That's called recursive self-improvement. The AI improves itself, which makes it better at improving itself, which makes it even better at improving itself. You see, how fast could that happen? Some estimates say it's months to human level to superintelligence, not years, months. So now you understand why they're racing, because whoever controls the transition controls what comes after. Well, here's what they're not telling you about who they actually are. See, Dario runs Anthropic. Even in scenarios where AI development goes well, he warned about how empowered such a tiny group of people are. Well, think about that. The CEO of a major AI company is warning that even the best case scenario, concentrates unprecedented power in the hands of the few people. And those few people, they're not elected. They're not accountable to voters. They're accountable to investors who want maximum returns on billion-dollar bets. So Sam Altman runs OpenAI. Mark Zuckerberg declined a $32 billion offer from AI division. These aren't public servants. These are venture capital-backed CEOs in a winner-takes-all race. Here's how they're locking out everyone else. 3 moats that make competition impossible. The first moat, the money, OpenAI's $61 billion funding round, Anthropic's $8 billion. These aren't just investments. These are barriers to entry that no one else can cross. So you want to compete with OpenAI? You see, $60 billion just to start. Most companies don't have that. Most countries don't have that. The second moat, the computing power. AI training requires massive data centers, the energy of entire cities, the kind of hardware that takes years to build and costs billions to operate. Google, Microsoft, Amazon control the cloud infrastructure. If you want to train competitive AI, you rent from them. But they're also your competitors. See the problem? The third moat, The talent and access. The best AI researchers work for these 4 companies. And when they try to leave to warn people, well, for example, Jan Leike ran OpenAI's safety team. He gave up 85% of his family's net worth just to speak freely about the risk. Most researchers can't afford to do that, so they stay quiet and keep working. And now they're adding military access to the Moat. OpenAI partners with the Pentagon. Google has defense contracts. They're not just building the technology. They're becoming essential to national security. So you can't compete with them. Your employer can't compete with them. The mid-sized companies that employ most Americans, well, they'll be customers of these 4 companies, not competitors. So that's your job security in someone else's hands. You see, China sees this too. 18 months behind and racing to catch up. President Xi ordered military readiness by 2027. That's not coincidence. That's understanding that whoever controls AI controls everything that comes after. So what does that mean for you? It means the next time you hear a tech CEO talk about AI for everyone, listen for what they're not saying. When they promise gradual development, check their actual timeline. When they talk about safety, watch what happens to researchers who raise concerns. It means paying attention to who in government is asking the hard questions about oversight. Well, right now, almost no one is. The few politicians who understand the technology are getting briefed by the same companies building it. You see, this isn't just another tech product you can choose not to buy. This is a fundamental question of who governs the future. And that conversation is happening in boardrooms and research labs, not in Congress or public forum. So you spend 30, 40, maybe 50 years working within systems that you understood. You learned the rules, build expertise, made plans based on how those systems worked. They're building something that rewrites all those rules, and they're doing it in private at a pace that doesn't give you time to adjust. Well, you've seen power consolidations before. You watch industries get monopolized, markets get cornered, rules get rewritten to benefit the few at the expense of the many. Well, the difference this time? Well, now you know to watch for the gap between what they say publicly and what they're actually doing. When these companies announce breakthroughs, ask who benefits first. When they publish safety research, watch whether they slow down or speed up development. When safety experts quit and forfeit millions to speak freely, listen to what they're actually saying. Share this information with anyone making career decisions, retirement plans, or major investments based on assumptions of gradual change. The more people who understand what's actually happening, the harder it is for the 4 companies to decide the future of 8 billion people without accountability. You see, this isn't about being scared. It's about understanding who's making decisions that affect the last decade of your work, your retirement security, and the world you're leaving your family. The race isn't over yet, but it's close. And once it's finished, the decisions about humanity's future get made by whoever wins. And that's not inevitable. But it requires people understanding what's happening before the window closes completely. So the next time you hear AI for everyone, translate it. They mean AI controlled by us, used by everyone. So now you understand why Eric Schmidt said whoever wins the first controls everything. The technology doesn't lie. The business model doesn't lie. Only the marketing does. And now you see what's really happening.